darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping.
G'day guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. And in this lesson, I'll be teaching you how to play The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to improve on your guitar, then sign up to GZ2H Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. For the basics of this song, you'll need your guitar in standard tuning and you'll need a capo on the 6th fret of your guitar. The guitar I'm playing here is a Cole Clark Angel 2 in Californian Redwood with Elixir strings. If you want to find out more, there's a link in the description below. Now in this lesson, I'm going to teach you some finger picking, but I'm also going to teach you how to play some easy strummed chords as well. What I'm about to teach you is not note for note. In the recording, there's a lot going on with 2 guitars, so I'm simplifying it down to 1 guitar. And if you're learning this song as a beginner, I think it's more important that you understand the structure of the song more so than the individual notes that you play. An analogy for this is that if you were trying to learn a phrase, you'd learn the words and the structure of the sentence, as opposed to learning each individual letter one by one. So let's jump into the intro, and we're going to start with an A sus2 chord shape. This is the same as an A minor, except you lift your index finger. For our finger picking basics, your thumb will take care of the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings, and your index, middle, and ring finger will take care of the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings respectively. They shouldn't pluck any other strings other than the ones they're assigned to. Now for this intro, it's really easy. We just have a 4-note section that gets repeated. So the 4 notes we pluck are the 3rd string, 1st string, 2nd string, and back to 1st string. Like that. And we're going to repeat it 4 times, and that's it for the intro. Let's get to the first verse, and there's 4 lines of tab here. We're going to start with the G chord, and I'm going to teach you a typical finger picking pattern that we're going to use for each chord shape. The finger picking pattern will be comprised of 4 notes. We'll hit the bass note of whatever chord we're playing. For this G chord, it's the 6th string. And then we're going to 1st string, 3rd, and 2nd. So that's our 4-note picking pattern. Now for our G chord, we're going to do this 4 times. And then we're going to go to an A minor chord and do this 4 times as well. But note that the bass note changes, it's now the 5th string, which sounds like this. And then we're going to go to an F chord. Now this is an easy F chord shape where we have our index finger barring the 1st fret of the 1st and 2nd string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. Our bass note for this chord shape is the 4th string, and the same finger picking pattern applies. We're only playing this chord for 1 picking pattern. And then we go to a C chord and play this for 3 picking patterns. And then we go back to our F and back to our C for 2 picking patterns. And in total for the 2nd line of tab. Then for this 3rd line of tab, we're going back to the F for 4 picking patterns, back to the C for 3 picking patterns, and then ending the line with an A minor for 1 picking pattern, which all sounds like this. And then for our final line of tab, we're going to go back to our C for 1 picking pattern. And then we go to a G for 2 picking patterns. And then we go back to our A sus2 chord shape. and we play the original picking pattern that we had in the intro just twice. And then we end with an A minor. We're just going to strum that once and let it ring out. So the final line of tab will sound like this. So in total, verse 1 will sound like this. Now, one thing to note, I've taught you a typical finger picking pattern that you can use for the chords, but you don't necessarily have to use that if you don't want to. You can make up your own finger picking pattern. As long as the timing aligns with eighth notes, then it doesn't really matter what string you pick. As long as it's within that chord, then it'll still sound okay. So for example, at the start where the G's played for 2 bars, you could play any of the strings, but as long as it spans those 2 bars. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Just make sure you pick on eighth notes and you'll be fine. But the finger picking pattern I taught you is a really good place to start as well, so be sure to give that a shot. Let's move on to the rest of the verses, and for the rest of the song, I'm just going to be doing strumming. Now the trickiest part about this song is that every single verse differs the slightest bit, where one chord will be played longer or shorter than the others. But let's run through them one by one. Now up here in the annotations, you'll see the chords. If there's a chord by itself in a set of brackets, you're gonna play it for a full strumming pattern. The full strumming pattern is gonna be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, like that. If you see 2 chords within a set of brackets, like the F to the C, then each of those chords is gonna share one strumming pattern, which sounds like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and finally, if you see a chord with a dash next to it, that means that chord is played for half a strumming pattern, or simply a down, up, like this C. Down, up. And then we move on to the next chord. So this verse chord structure up here is for verse 1 and 2. So it applies to that finger picking verse that we played, but also the second verse. So to recap, there's a G for 2 full strumming patterns, an A minor for 2 full strumming patterns. Then we have an F and C, which share a strumming pattern, a C for a full strumming pattern, that F and C again, and then we have a short C. Then for our third line of chords, F for 2 strumming patterns, C for 1 full strumming pattern, and C and A share a strumming pattern. And for our fourth line of chords, we have a short C, a G for a full strumming pattern, and an A minor for 2 full strumming patterns. Now the F chord I like to play here is one where I reach over my thumb to hit the bass note on the 6th string of the F chord. I find this F chord more comfortable to play, especially for switching and transitioning to the C chord, like that. But you can play the full F bar chord too if you want. So in total, verse 1 and 2 strummed sound like this. Moving on to verse number 3, and it's almost identical to our previous verse, except one chord is extended, and that's the last C chord in the second line of chords. Instead of being played for half a strumming pattern like this, it's now played for a full strumming pattern, and that's the only difference. Moving on to verse 4, again we have very small variations. That last C in the second line of chords is now shortened again, so it's just played for a down, up, down, up. And the very first C on the fourth line of chords is now played for a full strumming pattern. And that's it for verse number 4. If you want to see it in context, then skip to the playthrough at the end of the song. Now when we get to verse number 5, that last C on the second line of chords is now played for a full strumming pattern, and the first C on the fourth line of chords is now played for a full strumming pattern. So we don't have any half chords here. And at the very end, when we hit our G, we'll just strum that once, hold it out, and then we'll end the song by playing the intro riff, which sounds like this. And then end the song with an A minor, like that. So that's verse 5 and everything you need to learn. So in summary, this song is pretty simple, but the trickiest parts will be the slight variations in timing between each of the verses. Now I'll be playing through the song in its entirety, and I'll have a vocal track on top for some context. A big thanks to my friend Eric for lending his awesome vocals to this playthrough. If you want to check out his YouTube channel, there's a link in the description below. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice play along to and see how you go.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, with the halo of the late street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of the neon light. Splendid night, and touched the sound of silence, and in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never shared. No one dared disturb the sound of silence. Said, "How you do not know, silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. All my words like silent raindrops fell. Let go of silence, and the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sun flashed out its warning in the words that it was for me, and the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls, tenement halls, whispered in the sounds of of silence.
Hope you guys have enjoyed this lesson. Be sure to head over to guitar0tohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to improve on your guitar, then sign up to Guitar Zero to Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. Be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, click the little notification bell as well so that you don't miss out on my updates. Please leave your thoughts, comments, questions, and requests down below, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.